I'm gonna say something that might annoy a few gardeners. I don't want acres. Nor do I want rows. I also don't want to come home after a 9-hour workday, throw on boots, and hoe a field. But I say that respectfully because honestly, that's just not the life I'm building right now. But because here's the thing, I do want the food, I want the fresh greens, I want the herbs, and I want that feeling of walking outside, grabbing what I need without paying for it at the store. And as it turns out, I stumbled into a really good way of actually doing that. But first know this, I am not some master gardener, I am your average Jane, but I'm doing all that right here on a deck. Because yes, I live in a townhouse. I work full-time as a teacher, yet my deck is producing more food more consistently than most traditional backyards. Look, I had to say it because it's true. Right now, I have over 120 crops growing out here and another 70 growing in my mini greenhouse, ready to rotate in. And so that means in another 2 weeks, I'm not starting a garden. I'm eating regularly, weekly, sometimes daily. So if you've ever thought to yourself, man, I just don't have the time, I don't have the space, and I don't want to turn gardening into a full-time job, I'm going to show you why and how all this works. This video is the nuts and bolts of what I planted and why, how much food I figure out we actually need, how I set this up very quickly in the spring, and how to turn this into a steady repeat harvest over the next 6 to 8 months. And that's where you start to see how this can realistically replace hundreds of dollars at the grocery store. Because this isn't about you having lots of land or time. It's about building a system. Because you've probably already noticed that everything in my garden is vertical. It's on wheels. It's literally steps outside of my kitchen. I can water and harvest in minutes. And it's the kind of setup that works in a normal, busy life. Because darling, I'm not spending my whole Saturday out here fighting weeds. And I'm mentioning this because I think a lot of people believe that if you don't have land, well, you don't have options. And you know what I'm talking about. It's the idea that small space gardening is cute, but not productive. And I don't believe that at all. Because once you realize that you can be in your house, then step outside to cut what you need instead of paying $3, $4, and $5 for greens that are going to go bad in your fridge, this starts to feel a whole lot less cute and a lot more practical. So I'm just going to walk you through what is honestly a pretty humble setup. And I'm going to show you how this small space consistently produces food. Because don't you dare call this a garden. It's a grocery store on my deck. So the way I think about it is this. One pocket is basically one serving of greens. So when I look at my green stock, I am not seeing 30 different pocket holes. I am seeing food. But here's the thing, there are 2 models, which is excellent. And the first model has 5 tiers, and these pockets are very deep. But not everything you're growing has deep roots. So you can get this one, which has 7 tiers, and you'll get a total of 42 pockets versus the 30. But y'all, as you can see here, this is where the math really starts to get fun. So here in my house, it's me and my husband. And so if we're eating through our greens pretty aggressively, like if I'm tossing them into breakfast scrambles or lunch or dinner sides, he and I will each eat through 1 tier a week. So for example, like I could eat through this tier in a week, and then Trey would also eat through this tier in a week. So in a 5-tier model, I think about it like this. We each are going to eat off 2 tiers, and then the 5th one is like cushion. It's like the buffer tier, and I love it. So when I look at a stalk, what I see is essentially 2 weeks of food for both of us. And then once I started thinking about it that way, knowing how much to plant became super easy. Because y'all, I've got 4 towers out here, which are filled with food. So do the math. That means you're looking at a month of food production on a deck. No acres, no tractor, no dramatic pioneer life required. Okay, so another reason why this works is that I am not planting once and hoping for the best. What I'm also doing is thinking about my food production in waves. So like this round is growing and getting ready to harvest, I already have each of their pocket replacements started. And that's what my little greenhouse is for. And it's a very simple little system that helps me to stay one step ahead. And that's really important to do because then later on when I've harvested everything, I'm not out here like, oh no, what do we do? So essentially each week as I'm harvesting one tier, I'm replacing it the very next. And that is essentially how you keep the food moving. And y'all, I don't think it gets any easier than this. You are essentially seeing an entire food production system on a deck. On a single screen. And that's why I think people really underestimate small space growing because this is easy to manage. My garden is off the ground, so it doesn't have a lot of pest pressure. I can literally spin it to see everything. And better yet, I don't spend my Saturday mornings fighting weeds because I am deeply uninterested in making any of this harder than what it needs to be. So I hope now you see why I'm attaching food value to each pocket, because when you do that, things get interesting really quickly. Because now I am not out here thinking, oh, look at my cute garden. Nope. Instead, I'm thinking, that's romaine I'm not buying, that's kale I'm not buying, Swiss chard I'm not buying, broccoli I'm not buying, cabbage I'm not buying, spinach I'm not buying, so on and so forth. You get the gist. Now I actually have one more planter behind us. It's unstacked on the floor. And that is my herb planter. And a lot of them I planted years ago and they're coming back. Because don't even get me started. Fresh herb prices at the store? Who approved that? Because that little herb tower alone is giving me fresh flavor, tea herbs, herbs for butter, infused oils, vinegars, pestos, drying, freeze drying, tinctures, body care. That's another green stalk on a deck that's pulling a lot of weight. If this is our first time meeting, hi, I'm Cassandra from the blog becomingafarmgirl.com, and I'm here to help you live big in a small space. And if you've been thinking to yourself as you're looking at my deck, my goodness, what would I actually even do with all that produce? Then I need you to visit my gardening playlist. That's going to be an excellent starting point because this garden keeps me busy. But also know that this is exactly what I do inside of the Dinner's Done Dispatch. Because we're not just growing food to admire it, we're growing food to cook with it, preserve it, make our kitchens more productive. And inside the Dispatch, I host 30 to 45-minute workshops on evenings and weekends where we tackle kitchen projects together. And by the end, you've made something useful. Compound butters, vinaigrettes, meal components. We make all the things that help you turn fresh food into real meals. So if you want to bridge the gap between what you grow and what actually ends up on your table, I'll leave the QR code on the screen. Okay, y'all, so this is actually my greenhouse setup. And again, if you're in a small space like me, you're going to appreciate how compact this is. So I actually grabbed two because they were not expensive, but I've only actually had to use one. And the one I have upstairs, I've used all last season. It's in perfect condition, so I've been happy with it. Okay, friends, so I've gone ahead and opened up the greenhouse. And you can see that inside I keep this rolling cart, and this just helps me to make the most space of what I have in here. And again, this makes sense because I can stack my trays vertically. And I really like using these green stalk trays here because there's a handle and I can pick up all of my plants at once because obviously when I'm stacking them like this, I do need to make sure that I'm rotating them. So this setup has been really nice because all of my plants get the sun and it's functional without taking up a bunch of room. And in case you're wondering, this greenhouse gives me an extra 5 to 7 degrees of protection, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but that can make a difference, especially in early spring when the weather is all over the place. Now, in terms of what I'm growing in, it's honestly just like a combination of things. I like using the stackable trays from Greenstock, but I don't have enough of them for my entire garden. So I also just use these reusable plant buckets. I mean, truly, I like the idea of these because once you get them, like you just have them, right? You're set. You never need to keep buying disposable seed starting trays. But I also like using these trays from my garden center because I can always get them for free. But the only thing with these is that they're made from very thin, cheap plastic. So they normally only last about a year. But y'all, these are free, so they are absolutely worth using. So I've got a little bit more broccoli in the back, some lettuce, chard, lots of chard. Lots of arugula, so this is going to be ready to go, but I've got some time. And then I also started some kale as well. Now, there's another reason why this setup makes a lot of sense, and that is your food stays fresh until you need it. Yeah, this is essentially outdoor refrigeration. Now, think about it. If you have kale that's in your refrigerator, you basically have a window of time, a short one. But kale or spinach or broccoli, it waits for me. And I love that because I'm only eating when I harvest, which means I'm getting the freshest greens. So now when I look at this deck, I just don't see plants. I see an entire month's worth of food. I see built-in freshness. I see a system that I can actually keep up with. But more importantly, I see a way for us to reduce what we need at the grocery store. So being limited by space has actually only made me a more efficient gardener. So now I want to talk about, well, I guess you would call it my spring strategy framework. And that's because I've learned to become very intentional about what I grow because spring is not one season. It has been my experience that spring is actually 3 completely different growing environments. So like the first phase of spring is the cold start. And that's the part of spring where it's still very cold and unpredictable and some days still very much feel like winter. And this is where your slow growers are going to go in first. Cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. And these are your longer crops that take 50, 60, sometimes even 70 days to grow. And here's also the thing, they actually love the cold and they need that time to become established before things heat up. So if it takes the longest to grow, you're going to plant that first. And then after phase 1, there's phase 2, which I like to call, I guess, the sweet spot. And that's what we're in right now. And that's where you're starting to get more daylight, slightly warmer temps. And this is where your leafy greens really take off. And these are crops like your kale, your spinach, your lettuce, Swiss chard. And these are your workhorse crops because you're going to be cutting from them constantly. And these are also crops that are providing you with a lot of nutrition, things like iron, magnesium, fiber, chlorophyll. And you're going to be using these as your salad bases, your sauteed sides, and your smoothies, quick meals. And then because spring does what it always does. I call phase 3 the heat transition. And this is where spring just does you dirty. It just, just disappears because then things are very warm, borderline hot. And so this is where you need faster growing and heat tolerant varieties. Because if instead you plant your slow crops during this phase, you're just gonna lose them. So then when I get to phase 3, I'm no longer planting what I want to eat. I am planting what can survive in the next 30 days. So here's what I've realized, and you don't have to be an expert gardener if you just keep these 2 very simple things in mind. And the first is thinking about, okay, how long does this crop take to grow and what is the weather about to do next? That is the framework and the lane that I live in, and it doesn't overcomplicate things. You'll probably want to check out my seed haul video, but everything that I grow on my deck goes from seed to full maturity in about 45 to 60 days. And that's because I'm trying to eat now, not babysit something into summer. And that's why I plant a lot of compact, fast-growing varieties because I am not attached to having, the biggest cabbage or tomato. I'm trying to eat now. So this is where the system really shines because right now it's early April and I'm already starting to shift to what I'm growing. So I'm no longer growing the slow crops. I'm now focused on fast growers. Arugula, kale, lettuce, chard, mosh. Those are all quick turn crops and they're varieties that are going to do well even as the weather heats up. And then in about 2 weeks, I'm going to start planting my summer crops. Same system, different crops. And then once we're fully out of any potential frost, I'll break down the greenhouse. So as part of your food production, you just need a plan that's based on timing, how long things take to grow, and what the season's about to do next. And once you start thinking like that, things actually stop becoming complicated and start feeling really doable. Okay, so before we wrap things up, I want to take you back for a second. Because if you were here with me at the end of last season, you remember me telling y'all, don't wait until spring to get ready for spring? Look, every year I close my garden down the same way. I clean everything out and then I prep myself for spring. Actually, let's roll that footage. Now this one is a good one and I can't wait to show you. But fall is actually my secret weapon for supply shopping. Because remember, this time of year, most everyone else is winding down. But that's when I'm grabbing potting soil, vermiculite, perlite, and all those other not so sexy basics. And you know why? Because this time of year when you walk into Ace Hardware, Lowe's, the Home Depot, wherever, the shelves are going to be fully stocked. And sometimes on sale, especially right after Labor Day. And I don't know about you, but come March, I'm not going to be fighting 20 other gardeners for inventory. And if you follow my kitchen and home videos, you know that this is exactly what I do there too. I love thrifting and buying when no one else is even thinking about it. You want to stock up when it's quiet, stash it away, and then spring, that becomes plug and play. Oh, I want to go ahead and say this before I forget. So even if I don't find the potting mix or my vermiculite on sale, here's what I have noticed. It is always cheaper in the fall than it is in the spring. Okay, so and I'm so thankful that the current me is always thinking about the future me because now each spring as I go to start the garden, I start just by coming outside. And I share that to say that you should consider doing something like that too because now during this season, you're less vulnerable to price hikes or inventory availability. And there's just something about having peace of mind when you go to plant, not panic. Now, this may be pretty obvious, but what makes my garden work is that I use a system, and that system is a green stalk. And I know this is where some of you are going to be like, oh, here she goes trying to sell us something, but I want to push on that for a second. I need you to look around. I live in a townhouse. All I have is a deck. Space is limited, and we also want to entertain out here. We also like to bring our dog out here. This is also, other than our living room, which is small, but this is another living space. There is no world where I'm putting 120 plus pots out here and still having this be a place where I want to be. A growing collection of pots or grow bags don't scale like this. So by far, if you have a similar set of circumstances, a green stalk frees you from all that because these just aren't planters. They are modular food systems. And here's the other thing. I also appreciate that Green Stalk is a small family-owned company in Tennessee. They're an established company that's been helping gardeners for over a decade. So no, I'm also not interested in some random copycat that just popped up last month. With Green Stalk, they still have a telephone number that you can call and speak to a real person who knows what a planter to your pocket is. You're not navigating some annoying phone tree or speaking to AI. You're immediately plugged into a community of thousands of gardeners. They have live events, workshops, all of that actually exists. And here's also another thing. When we eventually move, I love that my Green Stalk garden can come with me. So these planters are in fact infrastructure. So take away this. I'm not saying that you need a Green Stalk, but you do need a system. But it is in my experience and hundreds of others that a Green Stalk look works really, really well. But if you're interested, I do have a code for you to take $10 off your order. It's BA Farm Girl, and you'll enter that code at checkout. We are at the start of another growing season, and so if you haven't seen me do this already, I would love for you to join me this year so I can show you how to take a small space and turn it into something that actually feeds you. Because yes, you can eat every day using a system that works right on a deck. To get more gardening inspiration, click the video on your screen. I'll see you in my kitchen or garden soon. Take care, friends.